Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm really sorry, so I'm sort of doing a little bit of a retake because I thought I was actually filming and I wasn't. I had it on photo mode. Hello, anyway, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Bruno. I live in Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, and I'm originally from Australia. It's like the 25th of January, almost 2/3 of winter is over, although we haven't had much of a winter. It's more or less been like +1, +2 Celsius during the day, -1, -2, or around 0 during the night. The only real snow we had was on Christmas Eve. It sort of lasted for half of Christmas Day, and it was all gone by Boxing Day, the 26th of December. And if it has snowed since then, it's only been a little flutter of snow and it's usually gone in half a day, melted away. We've had some black ice though at night, so it's been a bit slippery sometimes. And I have had some yellow leaves, so I've chopped them off. That's only natural at this time of the year, and I've noticed that any of the leaves that have turned yellow on some of the plants have all been the oldest leaves that are on the plant. So that's quite natural. The plant thinks it's winter. It's probably its hibernation season, which I don't really see with most of my plants because they are pushing out new leaves. They're pushing out blooms. Aglaonema is pushing out a bloom. Schismatoglottis is pushing out its little blooms, which I break them all off because the flowers are insignificant and I want the plants to grow well. Now, anyway, I'm very sorry, but where I started this video off, which I thought I was filming, I had received some plant mail. Yes, plant mail. I ordered this plant from a company in Germany last Sunday. I looked at the website on the Monday evening and it was ready for shipment. And it arrived yesterday on Friday in the morning. I was a little bit afraid because I wasn't sure how cold it was going to be, how cold en route it was going to be. But it was packed in some thermal insulation, the actual plants in thermal insulation. And there was a heat pack in the box, and I can just still feel the warmth in this. If I came in from the outside, I would feel very warm with this. Anyway, I had started to unpack this when I realized that I was not actually filming. Oh, should check. Anyway, this is one of them that I'm trying to open up. And I took the chance. I just couldn't go past this plant at the price it was being offered because it's usually in the triple digits in the euros, but it's again packed again in a heat pack, in insulation to keep it warm. I can't stand, well, it's good for the plant. Now, okay, here we go. It looks to be in very good condition. Let's just if I could get this tape off. Now, I bought 2 of exactly the same plant. I thought I will take the risk for the price they were being offered. I could not resist. Okay, that's the first one. The soil is slightly damp on the top. It's not cold. Well, of course it's not cold. It's been inside for over 24 hours. But the leaves haven't turned yellow, haven't gone floppy. All I'll tell you now is that it's an anthurium. Just get rid of this little mess here and see what the second plant is like. I really don't have that. No, we should always cut away from ourselves. get me through this. Well, the first one was in very good condition, so I'm really hopeful. I will keep them out in the fresh air now for one more day before I repot them. And I will share with you what they are. Okay, here we go. Struggle again. More insulation. Very good. Very good. And again, easy to tell where the top is because it's got the fluff. Oh yes, you're looking very well as well. You don't appear to be stressed, but you know, anything can happen in the next 24 hours to a week. But we will see. We will see. Okay. Oh, I think there's judging by the way the leaves are coming out, I think there's 2 plantlets branching off in this one. We'll see. Yep, soil is nice and moist. There's the second one, looking nice and healthy. Now, I know you're all shouting at me through your television screen or monitors. What is it? It's an anthurium, and these are 2 tissue cultured Delta Force anthuriums. I could not resist. Normally the price is sort of like over 100 euros, 140, 150 euros. These were less than 50, less than 40 euros each. Could not resist. And I liked the description of them, of the company, on the company's website, because they actually named the company that actually produced the tissue cultures. It said that they had obtained a cutting of the original Delta Force, and that these were tissue cultures from a cutting of the original Delta Force. Now, if you know the Delta Force anthurium, you know that it's a cross between 2 different anthuriums. You can look it up, you can Google it. But if you should happen to be able to do this same cross at home, the little plants that, when the seeds sprout, they probably won't be Delta Force. Delta Force was actually a cross, yep, but as I said, between 2 anthuriums. And of all the seeds that sprouted, one of them was very different. It had a mutation, and you know that the leaf forms big leaves in like a triangular shape, and they're quite, you know, they're not like that, the 2 edges of the leaves, but they've really spread out. So the leaves form like a very nice big triangle. And it's only a Delta Force if it's a tissue culture of the original mama plant. Because you might cross those 2 and have thousands of seeds, and not one of them will grow up to be a Delta Force. It's just a freak of nature, which is, I suppose, very good for the person that noticed that, hey, one of my little plantlets that's grown from seeds is very different from all the rest. And that's where we get the Delta Force. And of course, at the moment, because they're such tiny little plants, they are not showing, like most anthuriums all look the same when they're little plants, little seedlings. So yes, I'm going to plant these up, and hopefully, that's because I've got 2, that at least one of them survives well, touch wood. And it would be very nice if both of them survive, because I do find that they are absolutely beautiful, unusual anthuriums. Now, I am going to pot them up in, eventually, little self-watering pots, little ones. And I will be using, I've seen this, people in the UK, another place. This is, you know, well, here it's called Cyber Soil for plants, and this is the premium anthurium mix. So this is what I'm going to plant up my Delta Force cutting plantlets in, and it has a fertilizer mixed in it. So it's got 180 days. So more or less 6 months worth of fertilizer in the soil. But I suppose I find that you really should give the soil a very good mix because certain ingredients tend to settle because of their weight and whatever. But there is a local supplier here in Lithuania that is supplying this soil now. Seen other people say so I did buy some to give it a try, no harm, because I couldn't find a shipper that ships to Lithuania from Europe. But if I did, very expensive, because it's like a 5-liter pack. It's fairly heavy, and why should I order one? I should order 3, 4, 5 different types of soil to give it a try. And it has a nice little Ziploc at the front, so it doesn't dehydrate. It can close it up and conserve the moisture in the soil. I found it here locally, so I saved a lot on shipping. So I will give this a try. I will give this give you an update on what these Delta Force babies, and I will say Delta Force in brackets, because okay, it's tissue culture, but can you believe everything you read these days? I don't know. It's a little bit difficult, but it's a reputable plant supplier in Germany, and well, I don't expect the Germans to tell a lie. Anyway, that is my plant mail. So I will have I will plant them individually in separate little pots, but for the time being, you can go in here. Yes. I'll leave them out for a few days, 3-4 days till they get used to the air. Well, my humidity at the moment is 54%, but during the winter, look, I can manage to get it to be between 55 and 60%, so it's not too bad. But I have the humidifier on this floor running all the time because I've got a stairwell, so what does humidity do? It rises like over the Atlantic Ocean, and we get hurricanes and storms. So I find that the humidity on the 3rd floor in my Hoyer room is also, it's minimum at 50%. So the humidity being generated here is going up. So yes, so that's the main thing I wanted to share with you today. I'm sorry I haven't been online for a while, but I haven't. My health hasn't been very good, and I've been running backwards and forwards between clinics and specialists just to double check my health. And so far, so good. All the health checks are good. So I will keep you updated on this. I don't want to repot these just yet today or tomorrow. I want to give them a little bit more time, but yes. Now, not to waste time, why not show you some plants I probably haven't shown you, and I want to say something about one particular genus. Look at this plant here. This is a we want to say in English Bilbergia, but it's really a Bilbergia, and in Lithuanian it's called a Bilbergia. It's in the bromeliad family. And you can see here, it's actually flowering for me. Beautiful, very interesting little flowers, very long pink sheath, and then the little blooms pop out here. Sorry if it's brightly lit, but I have to have the grow lights on because it's, well, I think we've only had like 2 days, few hours of sunshine so far in January. If you remember last year, January 2023, Vilnius, the capital city of Lithuania, we had only 4 hours of sunshine, not per day, but for the whole month. So this January is following in suit. This particular plant I actually got from my cousin. Well, I got an offshoot from her in Easter 2023. Now, she actually got her plant from me about 25 years ago. Yes, this used to grow in my mother's garden, rest her soul. And I just took a little offshoot and I thought, I'll take it back and give it to my cousin as a memory, because from my mother's garden. And when I was there in Easter and I saw how well this plant was growing, I mean, Lithuania, it's an indoor plant for sure. I said, look, can I have a little offshoot from your plant? Because, you know, yours is from my mother's garden and it's just doing the rounds of relatives. And I thought, yes, I would like to have a plant from my mother's garden. And this I've had, as I said, since Easter 2023. And this is the very first time that it's flowered. And it's interesting because my cousin sent me a message about 3 weeks ago and asked me whether my bilbergia was flowering because hers was flowering. So I presume that it's the cooler temperatures and the lower light levels that spark this off to flowering. As I said, it's actually on the very top shelf. So from about here, it's next to the south window. From about here downwards, it gets light through the window, south-facing window. But these stalks keep growing up, and eventually they do grow down like grass. But yeah, it's got a lot of sentimental value because I know where the original one came from. So I do love this plant very much. And I've given also a plantlet to a friend who hasn't got it yet, hasn't flowered yet, but it'll flower. So this is a bilbergia from the Bromeliad family. I don't know, is it dry? It's in a very chunky mix. It's in a sort of, I think I put it in it's in a very chunky mix. They don't like to have wet roots. And I water it when I water all my other plants. It doesn't get anything special. Nothing really has died off. Yeah, it's growing very, very well. Now, let's put this down somewhere here so it doesn't fall down. A plant you haven't seen for a while, and that's my Rhipsalis paradoxa. You haven't seen it because it's hidden. It's on the very top of this IKEA shelf. It's on the very top, so the top of the pot does get light through the south-facing window. Now, about this south-facing window, because I always say I have a lot of my plants next to the south-facing window and they don't seem to burn. That could be because the windows are triple glazed. So maybe it does get warm. I mean, if the sun is shining in the middle of winter, I can turn off my central heating in my home and the rooms will warm up to 26, 27, 28 degrees just from the sunshine. So, but it could be that the triple glazing on the windows refracts the harmful rays of sunlight. And all it gets is light that it needs to photosynthesize, but not the burning rays of the light. That's my theory with triple glazed windows. And I'm sure I read it somewhere that double glazed, triple glazed windows, the light does get filtered somewhat from the harmful rays. But this is my Rhipsalis. Ooh, here we go, look. This is my Rhipsalis paradoxa, and look, it goes up to all the way there. It has not flowered. Now, all of these branches, stems, they are all facing the south-facing window. So, yep, I've had this in that window now for over a year and almost 6 months. It has no pests that I can see. A couple odd things look like mealybugs, but they're not. But yeah, it doesn't get overwatered because I have to climb on a stepladder to reach it. But you know, here the top parts all produce little roots and new growths. Sometimes the tips of these new ones get a little bit burnt, but I'm not really worried about that. The actual plant itself is just absolutely gorgeous, just gorgeous. And my Rhipsalis paradoxa, just love it. Oh, it's also dry, but the pot is heavy because it's big. And if I drop it, I don't know what I will say and what I will do. Now, on a completely different topic, quasi-indoor outdoor plants. there are some plants that I have to bring inside as soon as the weather gets very, very cold. And one of them, like the Sydney plant guy, I think he keeps his outside. Yeah, well, of course he'd keep his outside because it's in Sydney. They don't get -5, -10 or -20 usually in winter or ever. One of the plants I have is a canna lily, and I have two. I have the Cleopatra and the Stuttgart. The blooms are very, very, very similar. Very similar. Not exactly the same, but sort of deep orange and yellow mixtures. But when you look at the blooms, you can tell that they are different plants, but they look very similar. Now, the normal thing with the canna lily, I mean, I can't grow them here in the ground. Otherwise, every late autumn, I would have to dig them out and store them. Store them where? Okay, I moved from a flat to a 3-story townhouse. I'm running out of room. So what I did is I waited until the first frosts came and all the leaves turn brown, which they're supposed to do. And as soon as they get turned brown from the first frosts, that's when you chop, 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 and take them inside and put them in a dark place until spring. Well, I did take them inside and I put them in my office, which has a north-facing window, so it's not very bright, and I put them under my desk, so it's quite dark under the desk. Did that bother the canna lilies? No. Here they are. Here's one of them. Does that look like it's overwintering, that it's hibernating and resting? No. It sprouted all new growth, and so did the other one, and I don't know which is which. I have to actually see them when they're flowering. But this one and the other one, they look big and healthy, and they don't seem to be dying. So I do water them a little bit every now and then. But what happened to the hibernation period? And as I said, a week ago, it finished flowering, and I had to cut the little flower stem off. But it's a canna lily. You're supposed to be dormant. And I don't have anywhere else to put it. I mean, I can put it in the downstairs bathroom, laundry room, because that doesn't have any windows and that is quite cold. But sometimes, and don't ask me why, the underfloor heating decides to switch on and it's quite warm in that room. But so if it's warm, it might want to grow, but there's no light in that room. There's no windows. And this is, as I said, I had them under my office desk, and they sprouted and flowered. And as I said, it's 2/3 winter over. As soon as the spring comes, as soon as the nighttime temperature is like +6, +7 degrees Celsius, there's a few of my plants that can go outside. And the first will be the canna lilies. Now, the next ones next two I want to show you are both citrus trees. And the first one is this one. Look at that. Look at that. I will try and lift it up. It's in a plastic pot, don't worry. It's in a plastic pot. Look, can you see the little orange? Can you see the little orange there? This is actually a mini mandarin tree. Look at it. Look at it. If I put it on the floor, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, healthy growth. It is upstairs in the Hoyer room, up against the south-facing window, but it gets light from one side from grow lights, Sansi grow lights, and I have to turn the plant to even out its growth. Now, normally with citrus trees, in Australia anyway, at any time of the year, the citrus tree has flowers, it has green fruit, and it has ripe fruit. Well, this one just finished flowering recently, and it has almost ripe fruit. It has quite a lot of green fruit, and I can see some flowers that are being pushed out. Now, this is a Citrifortunella, sometimes also known as a Calamodin citrus or a dwarf mandarin. Now, some of my guests wait for these fruits to ripen and they want to eat them. And the trick with these is if you peel them and eat them, they are extremely sour. But if you eat them with the skin on them, they're not as sour, which is strange because you would think that the skin would be sour and the fruit would be sweeter, but it's not. If you eat them with the skin, you don't notice. And start from the beginning. Come early spring, as soon as it's like 6 or 7 degrees minimum temperature during the night, this plant is going outside with the canna lilies and they will stay in full sun for the whole of summer, spring, summer, and most of the autumn. Once the temperature goes below plus 6 or 7 Celsius, they come inside. The only thing having them inside is, every now and then I'll take them into the shower and wash the leaves down. And I do pick off at least a third of the green fruits. Now, for a tree, this size, I can't remember. There used to be like a formula, how many leaves there should be on the branch that has fruit. I basically pick off a third of the little green ones, or maybe even half. Because especially in the summertime, these fruits ripen very quickly out in full sun. The other thing is that it really likes to be kept watered. These citrus trees, the roots are closer to the top than they are to the bottom. So if you're using a moisture meter and it goes all the way down to the bottom, it might show that the soil is still a little bit damp, but at the top will be dry, and they don't like to get too dry because it is restricted in a pot. It's not in a terracotta pot, it's in a plastic pot with drainage. And the other thing is, make sure that the fertilizer you use has a lot of iron in it. They need iron, otherwise the leaves go a little bit chlorotic, sort of yellow or veiny. They go yellow with sort of green veins through the leaves, and that's a sure sign of a low iron deficiency. Now, I love this little plant. He's gorgeous. You won't believe it, but when I bought him, he was about that high. He was in a big box store in the rescue section. This citrus, I think, was about €7. Now, normally, they're usually sold, even that size, nice and bushy, a couple of flowers, some nice orangey fruit, because it is a dwarf mandarin, couple of orangey things. Well, this thing was in a horrible state. It was the only citrus on the shelf. And I thought, you poor thing, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give him a chance to survive. Because, what's €7 compared to 45 euros for a nice healthy plant? No, I thought, I'm not really going to lose much. So I brought it home, took it out of its nursery pot, checked the roots. Okay, some of the roots were dry. I cut them off. The roots that were moistish and firm, I left them on there, potted him up into a slightly bigger pot than he was in with citrus soil, because you can get citrus soil, soil specifically for citrus plants, and slowly but surely it came good. Slowly but surely. So I think that we are going into our third season, because I think I bought this plant in 2022, that I had it in my old apartment, and then I moved in 2022. Yes, 2022. It was definitely outside in the full sun. Last summer it was outside in the full summer. So it's had 2 full seasons with me, and look, it's grown from something that big. Look, this is beautiful. I have sometimes snipped it. Don't know how I'm going to be successful, but I would actually like to have like a ball shape. But I know that there is a trick that if you get a piece of twine or a piece of string and tie it somewhere onto a stem inside the plant, and you pull the string out and you go around the plant, and whatever is above the string, you cut them off. So you keep all of the growth in a circular pattern. I might do that this spring. It didn't go mad or crazy. It just pushed out more shoots, and that usually means it just fills up without this. Of course, this big growth at the top here is of course the bits that are getting the most light now. So I'm going to have to turn this around so that this side is closer to the grow lights. Give them a little rest, and yeah, look. The only problem is with these citrus trees, when you grow them in pots, as the plant gets bigger and bigger, the pot gets bigger and bigger, and then eventually, when you want to move them inside in the late autumn, you have to make sure you've got at least a couple of friends over who'll help you carry them up to where they're going to spend the cold part of the year. But anyway, look, it's dark green, it's not chlorotic, it's as healthy can be, and I do keep up the watering. I water until I see the water coming out of the bottom of the saucer, and then I will leave it to drain, and after a couple of hours I will come back with a little bucket and empty the saucer out. But look, I'm so happy with this citrus tree. It's actually with one of my good friends. We're actually in competition because he has one as well, which I think I gave him. I gave him mine because I bought the little baby one, and I wasn't sure whether the baby one I would give the rescue one, I would give him that, or whether I would give him one of my. It's about the same size. But he doesn't have any grow lights. So sometimes towards the beginning of spring, his citrus tree looks a little bit chlorotic. The leaves are a little bit more palish, yellowy green rather than this dark green color, which means it's getting certainly enough light, and it's producing oil, because the citrus tree is not deciduous. It drops a few leaves every now and then, but it doesn't drop them all. 1 or 2 leaves it drops a week, but that's quite normal. And yeah, so that's my citrus. Calamondin. Beautiful. Look, I can't go wrong with that. It's gorgeous. Now, I have one more citrus which you may have never heard of. Now, I got that last year, early last summer. It was about 30 centimeters high, about a foot. No, about 12 inches. Yeah, 12 inches is a foot, if I remember correctly from my childhood. 12 inches, 30 centimeters. I'll try and reach it. Oh, look, the big elephant in the room, of course, is my Monstera Thai constellation. Growing crazy. It's pushing out a new leaf right now, so I don't want to touch it. I don't want to do anything wrong. Now, here's another one, which is heavy. Look at that. Now, let's try it from down here. Its leaves are from there to there. Well, yes, about the same size as the other citrus. But does it look like a citrus to you? Let me get it out. Oof. Let me move it here. Look. Does it look like a citrus? No. These leaves are hanging down nicely. It has lots of spines. It has lots and lots of spines. And it is, I don't know, 12, 24, it's at least 24 inches, it's at least 60 centimeters, it could be 90 centimeters tall. It's getting close to being a meter tall. Anyone guessed what it is? This is an Australian native citrus. Yep. This is called Citrus australasica. Australasica. It is native to Australia. It grows in the semi-tropics, somewhere between, on the east coast of Australia, sort of at the border between New South Wales and Queensland above it, in that area. So that's subtropics. It loves full sun. This I've had for not quite a year. This is for, this I got in spring of 2023. And it's now at least perhaps 2.5. There's some sticky bits here, so you might have to go in under a shower because I don't like those sticky bits. But it could be that the actual plant is releasing some sort of like sticky syrupy stuff to attract insects. Yeah. This plant actually had one little bloom last season, 2023, during the summer. Nothing much came of it. I think it needs much more bloom. So I'm hopeful. Now, this is either the second or the third Australian finger lime I have had. All the others, like the other citrus, early spring, +7, +8, minimum temperature during the night, it can go outside. And they always grow for me well in the summer, and then comes the winter, bang, things go wrong, it starts dropping its leaves, but it's nothing unusual for citrus to drop their leaves. They usually drop their leaves when they're in stress. This also does not like to dry out. If it's growing in the semi-tropics, northern New South Wales and southern Queensland border areas, it will have plenty of moisture in the soil. So I do keep an eye on the watering. And the other thing that I do, which I don't do with any other plant, is mist it. I don't know, once or twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. It's in my office by a north-facing window. And you say, no good, north-facing window? No, no good, but there is a grow light directly above it. And a lot of the growth at the top is new from the grow light. So it's the only plant that I actually mist or spray. And it seems to be doing good so far. I don't have any problem with this particular plant. Never had pests on it. So yes, I'm just waiting for this cold weather to finish so you can go back outside and enjoy the sunshine. Yeah, look, even the lip of the pot is a bit sticky, so it is producing something. Because there's no pests on this plant that is producing this sticky stuff. I think the plant is... Anyway, just a fun fact. Why is this called a finger lime? The fruit can be... finger lime. Because the fruit is long, like a finger, like a thick... Not that one. Like a thick finger. It's like a thick finger. And the interesting thing is you can't slice it into slices, because when you cut the finger lime fruit and open it, the inside gushes out like caviar. It's in small little capsules like caviar. And it's sometimes called, instead of finger lime, lime caviar citrus. But the fruit can be clear, it can be greenish, it can be yellowish, it can be pinkish, it can be purplish, all different colors. And apparently it's all the rage with certain cooks in parts of the world which pay dearly for this plant, for the fruit, because they like to garnish especially seafood and like fish dishes with this citrusy caviar. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like caviar. Because when you cut it open, it just bursts out like caviar. And you can't cut it into slices. So you can mix it in cocktails, you can mix it in drinks, you can mix it in cakes, you can use it as a garnish on top of fish dishes, etc., etc. And the different colors make it even more interesting if you can get fruit at the same time of different colors. But I think the bush, whatever color fruit it has, it'll always have. You have to find another mutation or whatever. But again, it also makes sure that the top layer of the pot is moistened enough so that it doesn't dry out too much. As I said, it's the only one. And I think it's for two reasons. Number one, it is under a grow light, as my other citrus is near a grow light and a south-facing window. This is next to a north-facing window, but it has a grow light directly above it. And moisture and light. It needs it. And I'm actually going to give both these citrus a little shot in the shower today, just to wash them off. But and the other thing is, I do not spray, even if I think I'm tempted to spray some of my other plants, very, very occasionally, mist them. I never use plain tap water. No. Only reverse osmosis water. That's all I use. Well, that's basically what I use to water all my plants. But every time I water, they have some fertilizer in the water, somewhere in it. Because most of my plants, as I look around, nothing has stopped growing. As I said, 1 or 2 yellow leaves, but everything is nice and healthy and doing quite well. Thank you very much. So anyway, I think that's about it for today. I just wanted to surprise you. Well, I couldn't wait because I had this plant mail to open up and bring these plants out into the open and let them acclimate before I pop them up. As I said, they are Delta Force. From everything I have read on the online store and the details and information about the laboratory where the plants were cultured, tissue cultured, I think it's legit, but we'll see. We'll see. And in any case, what I paid for them is what I would have paid from any usual Anthurium in that size. But considering this is the Delta Force, this was a bargain, a New Year's bargain, that's what it was. I just saw this ad, I don't know, it popped up. I was searching for something else and this grower popped up. And I just had a look at their sale page and I thought, oh, that's a huge reduction on the price. I will get one. And I thought, no, get two, just in case in the cold weather, one of them doesn't do too well. But I hope they both do well. And eventually one day, you will find out why I hope they both do well. So let's end on that little... yes, now look. If I have time tomorrow, this being Sunday, well, I should have time tomorrow, I need to film my alocasia for you. Because there are also some helpful tips what I found out. Spoiler alert, I'll tell you one of them. Alocasia cuprea. Because I have a few alocasias that are right up against that magic south window, triple glazed. Growing very well. The cuprea, when it was closer to the south-facing window, the leaves drooped. Not from lack of watering or moisture, no, they weren't overwatered, they weren't underwatered. I did some research and I found out, especially the cuprea, if its leaves are drooping and it's not over or under water, move it away from the light source, because mine now, many of the leaves are now, as they say, erect, standing up, no longer drooping. Moved it away from the south-facing window, as also at this time of the year, from that direction they get some grow light. So I've moved it away slightly and I found that the leaves now are not all drooping. Some of them have sort of are now searching for the light. And I think what I read online was that when the cuprea drops, if it's not overwatering, it's not underwatering, it's too close to the light. It's hiding from the light. Move it away and the leaves move back up because they want the light, the gentler light. Anyway, I hope you are all well. You in the Northern Hemisphere, never fear. There's only a month and a bit left of winter, and then we will see on YouTube all of these, spring videos. Anyway, take care, be safe wherever you are. My heart goes out to people in the north of England and in Ireland, because you're not used to storms like that. Well, 10, 15 years ago, we used to have storms like that, but with snow. So you can imagine, and for us, it's nothing, like, I laugh when I was in Brussels once and there was like 0.5 centimetre of snow and it was a disaster. Don't send your kids to school. It's only 0.5 centimetre. We have 1 metre of snow and people are still driving everywhere because we have winter tyres. Not all countries have winter tyres, and when you get all these slippery road surfaces, people are not used to driving on them, and plus it's the wrong tyres that are on the cars. You have to have winter tyres, because here in Lithuania, it's mandatory, sort of late autumn, to change your summer tyres to winter tyres, and then in early spring, you can change them back to summer tyres. And we're used to these things. Well, I'm used to walking on ice, although I have this little metal spiral net thing that I cover the bottom soles of my shoes, because otherwise you'll slip, and I've fallen many a time. I've even fallen and bumped my head. I think I was unconscious in my own driveway many years ago for 2 hours before I woke up and thought, what am I doing here in the middle of the night sleeping on the ice? But see, anyway, my cousin even slipped on the stairs to the medical center. Well, if you're going to slip on the ice on the stairs, why not do it at a medical center? Just inside the door is all the medical care you'll need. Well, sorry for her. She did break her arm, but if it had to happen, just as well that it happened right next to the medical center. Anyway, I'm off on the tangent as quite often, but I'm glad to see you all. I hope you are all and well and happy and safe wherever you are. And until next time, ciao. Oi, now we have to go into here and off.